Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you all to the Business Coach, a show in which you out to help entrepreneurs better their businesses. My name is Ian Dennis, and tonight I'm quite excited because I'm having a guest who probably when you just see him will be wondering, where have I seen this guy? And if he starts talking, you'll be wondering, Miski Sauti Wapi. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Richard Njao, aka Esther, and you're shooting this show at Citadel Canteen, located here at Mudidi Road, Westland. So you guys, over lunch hour and around Westland, pitia hapa. Thanks so much, Richard.
Asante sana.
Corona. So nice seeing you.
Good to see you too, man.
I've always been hearing of you online. I always watch a lot of your episodes. And I remember growing up, I used to listen to your music as Esther.
As Esther.
Yes, and I'm sure a lot of people are actually just watching this and wondering, Esther Lipotia Wapi? Because people used to know you as a musician.
Yeah.
Why did you disappear to?
What people don't understand, before as a musician, I was fast in digital. So the one foundation that I've had in my life ever since 2001 is digital. When I became a musician, music was just added onto digital. In fact, I would say I became a digital musician. A lot of my movements as a musician were digital. In terms of one of the first musicians to upload music onto YouTube, distributing music onto YouTube, or using the various streaming platforms. Yeah, lakini bado niko.
How was the experience like? Because I know what brought you to fame was music. How was the experience like during that particular point in time?
What actually brought me to fame before music was digital. In 2001, I went to university in South Africa, University of Port Elizabeth, and I opened up a website. Very strangely, it became the second largest Kenyan website in the world, diaspora Kenyan website in the world, after EA Standard.
What is the website?
KenyanMadness.net.
Is it still there?
No. Somebody jacked my domain. But what I would do is I would put Kenyan music online, so it was the only place you could download Kenyan music, especially you can imagine the diaspora. And secondly, I would get pictures from various Kenyans abroad. In their madness, basically having a good time, and I would put those pictures onto my website and put a caption. I was Facebook before Facebook.
Wow, interesting. So you had seen all these things even before they did happen.
So I became known for that. The guy who goes to clubs and takes photos of people and puts them on digital. Yeah.
Interesting. And after that, I know you had a stint working for Google. I think I've been listening to many of your talk shows that you have been actually putting out. How was the experience like being at Google, and what exactly are some of the things that you learned more so in regards to digital? Because you already started that particular phase when you ran the Kenyan Madness website. How exactly was the experience like at Google?
So I started working at Kenyan Madness. I opened up this website, then I got saved, and I gave my life to Christ, and I became a gospel musician.
Which year was that?
2004, 2005. I became a gospel musician then. And now, through that, I started forming relationships with different musicians. Dadioen, Giuliani, Eric Wainaina, Kanji, name it. The musicians at that time, probably about 80% of them are responsible for opening up either their MySpace, highfive.com, and Facebook when it was coming.
Back in the day.
Yeah. So what happened is I formed a relationship with a lot of artists. They would give me the music to distribute for them. So and part of the places I would distribute music was on a website that very few people knew about called YouTube. So
that was back in 2004. I think it was the early phases when that's when YouTube was just starting to come out.
Yes. Yeah. So when YouTube came to Kenya and they looked for the biggest websites in the country, and a website called Richard Njao one of the YouTube channels called Richard Njao was one of them. So that's how I ended up being called, but not to work for YouTube, to head G+. G+ was
their social
media that failed.
Yes, I think they closed it in 2018 or 2019.
YouTube's offices are right here from the canteen that we are, from right here. So what happened is, I would tell YouTube, G+ will never work. I would tell them, G+ is never going to work in this country unless you support musicians and creatives to create content, unless you finance them. And they said, we do not finance content creation. So I worked there for 6 months, and then my contract ended, and then somebody from Google Nigeria came to Kenya. And this is how you know God exists. And he said, I'm looking for somebody who deals with content, and everybody at Google was just like, there's this guy, they call him Mr. Content. So that's how now they made me something called a YouTube enabler, which means they financed me, they enabled me, they taught me about the YouTube platform, they equipped me and told me, go and equip Kenya. At this time, there were only 4, not Kenya, Eastern African region, there were only 4 YouTubers.
Who are they, apart from you?
There was one chick called Kangai Mwiti, people don't even know.
No idea.
Kangai had over 1 million views back then.
What? Yes, 2004?
No, 2000. This was about 2007, 2008, No, but in fact it was 2008. No, it was after. It was
Because back then it was
It
very
was
hard
2013,
getting-
yes. Kangai Mwiti, Sharon Mundia was there.
Sharon's been there for up to
Mrs.
now. Yeah.
And two other guys, I can't really remember them. But consistently creating content. I'm not talking about the KTNs,
Yeah.
talking about individuals who work. The way now we have the various
Content creators.
Yeah.
Interesting. And
And my first client
Yeah.
was a lady called Caroline Mutoko. 2014, December 14th, we
Wow.
officially started her YouTube channel. And she was like, let me tell you, and it's amazing to see the growth of people on YouTube. Right
and
now.
it has happened so fast. And something interesting about you that when you're just trying to go back in time from 2001, my goodness, I don't remember where I was in 2001. I think I was getting into primary, if I'm not wrong. But you've seen the digital face just, what's it called, morph over a period of time.
Evolve, yes.
Yes. So what exactly is your analysis? When do you think, what's it called, from how far we've come, where do you think the future of digital is?
We are currently experiencing, Corona has completely changed things. Corona has accelerated the speed at which the digital evolution is happening.
Yeah.
So digital evolution started with email,
Yeah.
and then into website, and then into social media, and then into mobile, and then into digital advertising. It's insane. So what has happened right now, let me not lie to you, nobody can tell you where we're going to be in 5 years. That's a lie.
Yeah.
If somebody starts telling you, we couldn't fathom even what's happened in Corona.
Yeah.
But what I do know, a big aspect of what has happened, we're going to see one world. So in terms of, you're going to have Kenyans whose market is not Kenya, their market is Hong Kong. That's where their core target audience is because of accessibility. You're going to have cutting out the middleman. So in order for me to put out content, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but I no longer need the TV station.
True.
I have direct access to the consumer. Clean the air, go and subscribe.
CTA.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So back in the day, you're going to see creators, and not just in content, but creators all across, to people who are in farming, people who are in education, directly having access to the consumer without a middleman involved. Yes. And therefore increased revenues for them. Yeah.
Interesting. And speaking about you're amongst the, what's it called, the pioneers when it comes to the YouTube space. And you've mentioned your channel that I literally subscribe and watch every video that you put out. CTA, Cleaning Out the Airwaves. So you guys who are watching this, you can go and subscribe to CTA, Cleaning the Airwaves.
Yes.
So maybe, because it seems that this is the space where all content creators are heading into. But what exactly do people need to do right in order for them actually to grow their channels? Because it seems like that space, mostly with Corona having happened, everybody's now about YouTuber. What exactly do people need to do right in order for them to grow in this particular space?
Number one, have a vision. Without a vision, it's not about what you do, it's where you're going first. Do you even know where you're going?
Yeah.
Without that, completely just stop. Stop and deal with the vision perspective first. Even in business, in life.
That's true.
Number two, who are you speaking to? Who's your target audience? That can evolve over time, and that's okay. That can evolve over time, that's fine. So number two is the target audience and the specific people that you're speaking to. Know them, research about them. Number three, consistency. Number four, it's not about views. It's not about having 1 million people. You can have 80,000 people who you communicate to, and these people completely change your lives. In fact, we're going to see people speak more to their target audience, because not just have them at the viewer perspective, but move them from viewers to consumers to ambassadors. So you don't just have a base of people, but you have a strong base that when you say jump, they don't tell you, no, you jump. They're asking you how many times, how high. You're more intimate with your target audience.
And the downside of YouTube, I think I've been experiencing this. Maybe recently, there's the famous content creator called Flacco. You saw his channel being put down because you see this particular tendency whereby, yes, you've started creating your own content, someone downloads and puts it up in their own YouTube channel, and someone now sends a strike on you. How can one prevent this? Because there's the upside and the downside.
That's not the downside. That's what people don't understand. You have to educate yourself about YouTube. First and foremost, Flacco's channel is coming back.
Yeah.
So by the time, I'm not sure, but maybe by the time this is going on air, Flacco's channel will be back. The people who uploaded his content, IPI, where they infringed, copyright infringed, their channels are not coming back. If you can prove to YouTube that your channel, that you own the content on your channel, YouTube have no problem having your channel up. YouTube protects the content creator first. So Flacco's channel is coming back, and if you dare try and upload Flacco's channel content again without his permission, your channel will actually be brought down. So copyright infringement is a huge thing that content creators need to be educated on. Aggregators, somebody like Ngoma of Clemo, those are people that you need to connect with and understand the accessibility that they give you to connect with YouTube. But just to say, the understanding, it's a copyright infringement thing. Yeah.
Interesting. So ladies and gentlemen, my goodness, you're learning so much from Richard Njau, all about YouTube, digital and the likes, my goodness. So don't touch that dial. We're going to be coming back after the break to just go on and on into this subject called digital. See you after the break.